Our next speaker is Mark Cannon. He is chairman of the Shiverers Swimming Club, a fantastic local organisation with hundreds of members of all ages. The club actually uses the King Alfred several times a week, but embarrassingly, Brighton and Hove has to go to the K2 in Crawley to use their 50-metre pool. Mark is going to tell us why he feels that the 50-metre pool is so important to the city. We've heard two presentations so far that have said that 25 has been enough. It's a cause that I have a lot of sympathy for, but I'd like to hear from Mark.
Oh, thank you, Mike, and thanks to all the speakers. I've learned a lot about the various things that have to be considered. And it's interesting, Mike raised the issue about us having to go to Crawley to swim at the K2. We don't compare that well internationally either. Some of you might be surprised to know that France, Germany, Spain and even the Netherlands have more 50-metre pools per head of population than we do. And even locally, Mike mentioned the K2, but equally Portsmouth and Plymouth have the benefit of accessing 50-metre pools that we don't have. And for me, as a resident of Brighton and Hove, I just feel that that's something that, as a city, we really need to have something, as I think it was James said, iconic and is flexible enough for both the community to use, so we can design, as James said, make the right design choices. That means that people who just want to use it as casual or leisure swimmers, as well as competitive swimmers, which I have quite a few in our club, can really make the most of. So, in terms of, from my point of view, there are some basic issues about swimming anyway. It will be well in tune with the government's agendas on health, so particularly the obesity challenge that we have. And also, I don't know if people were just watching the news or seeing the news recently about how many children can't swim 25 metres after they finish primary school. And that's a life skill that not only gives people confidence, and done in a right environment, a fun environment to do it, to build a sense of community spirit, confidence around water, helping your children as you grow older to learn that skill as well. But more seriously, that people do actually die as a result of not being able to swim, and that is totally preventable, and something that I think a club like ours could very much make a very strong contribution to the well-being of our local population. We are a growing population as well. I think it was James that said about how could you justify a 50-metre pool given that there are other facilities along the coast. Well, my understanding of our demographics is that we're quite a young population in Brighton and Hove. In terms of our births, we are a growing population as well. So we have about 3,500 births a year. Now, from my perspective, that's something that we need to take quite seriously in terms of being able to provide them with facilities that are meaningful for them in their life. But also, if we structure it properly, we can help them to progress in a way that they would not necessarily have ever imagined that they could. I'm relatively new to swimming. I don't really know much about it. My kids swim. I've got 4 kids. 3 of them are highly competitive swimmers. I had no idea of the world that existed in swimming and how much you can get out of it. And that's something that I want to offer all our children, whatever their ability, to give them the best opportunity that they can to get the most out of the facilities that we have. And the issue for me around cost is really important, and the message that I really want to strongly stress to our leaders in considering all of this, and the excellent presentations that have been made about the various commercial and business implications of this, is to not limit our aspirations around what we can achieve, because it's not a simple issue for me about just building and the cost of building a 50-metre pool. What we have is the ability to make ourselves iconic, not just nationally, but internationally as well. Mike pointed out that we go up to the K2 to swim in galas and do 50-metre training. I also take our club swimmers away overseas to do 50-metre training in training camps. What we have the opportunity to do with the right design is to bring people this way so we can create an international sports tourism industry locally for people that have wider spin-off benefits, not just for the swimming pool and our local children, but also for our hotels, our pubs and restaurants more locally. In terms of affordability as well, that strong message around cost is really thinking about affordability, not just cost. It's really important that we see these developments in the context of it over time. And all I can say is that we have plenty of examples. I've spoken to the Amateur Swimmers Association, who are very supportive of this development. If it was to go ahead, they would be very willing to offer their support. But there are countless examples in Basildon, Bristol, Plymouth, Portsmouth, that create these sports villages that we've heard so much about this afternoon. And they are run profitably. They don't break even, they're not subsidised, they're actually profitable going concerns. So my message and my plea to our leaders is to consider it in that context. I think the one other thing that I would say is that swimming is the highest participatory sport in the UK. There's about 12 million people who swim. We know from research that there's about 13% of people who currently don't have an active sporting career would choose swimming as part of the sport that they would do. And there is a huge amount of latent demand, I think, in terms of what we could tap into in our local community. My final comment is that one of the things I love about it is the kids that I have in the club inspire me every day. We have all this stuff that people talk about the children and how they don't do much and they hang around on their iPads and watch the TV and all the rest of it. I don't see that. I simply don't see that. I see kids getting up at 5:30 in the morning, swimming at 6 o'clock for an hour and a half, and they are a great inspiration to me. And what I hope our leaders can do is help me to help our children to inspire the next generation of children. So I hope we can rely on all your support to encourage our leaders to make the right decisions. So thank you.